A student, popular football player, evil child molester.
We find the defendant guilty.
I've never woken up in the morning and wondered, did we get the wrong guy?
This trial was a sham.
There's been an outcry.
He's a great guy.
He was absolutely guilty.
They got it wrong.
Initially, I was pretty convinced of his innocence. Now I wouldn't be surprised either way.
All right, that takes us to topic number 3, BC. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about this one, because I know this guy from the kickboxing world. You probably know him from the boxing world. Jarrell Miller fails a drug test for the 3rd time in a fight, but if you count each individual failure, it's his 5th time. He had been signed by Top Rank. He was supposed to fight, I think, Jerry Forrest coming up here, and he popped for something that he popped for in the lead up. I think Enduraball is the name of it, Endurall or something. It was the same thing he had popped for, among other ones, which was also included HGH and EPO. He was the guy who was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua, and then he pulled out, and that's how Andy Ruiz got that fight. So Top Rank, at the time, Matchroom just let him rock, and then Top Rank picked him up. Okay, let's ask. He is undefeated as a heavyweight. He was a very good kickboxer. By the way, he failed a drug test there in 2014 as well. Now, I have about the most lenient attitudes on this imaginable, but if you're going to cheat, you got to be good at it. He's a terrible, terrible PED user. He has no idea. He is literally bad at it. Is his career over, BC?
It should be. It really should be. I hope it is. And you got to do a lot to piss off boxing to the level where everybody just wants you gone. People on Twitter the last, 48 hours, from pro fighter to journalist to everyday fan, just get this guy the hell away from us. Boxing not only turns a blind eye to this kind of stuff normally, good God, most of the time boxing embraces awfulness and this type of actions. Only you nailed it. The reason why he's getting hate from everybody is not only is he a freaking cheater, he's an awful cheater. And we can't be naive to believe that, it's a clean sport except for the people that get caught. But to see somebody with that much potential, right? Unbeaten heavyweight contender, a guy that is really kind of being sought after as a lower price B-side in big title fights. Why? Because he's an American who can talk, and he throws punches in bunches, and he's not necessarily a knockout threat. So he's an exciting fighter who goes in there, big-time flurries, brings it. But Luke, the problem is he didn't really get that much of a hand slap when he popped those tests against Anthony Joshua. He lost the fight. He lost the big payday. He didn't get a year-long suspension. He basically got another job offer from Top Rank. That's what can happen in boxing. You can slip through the cracks. People are opportunistic. People don't care as much. At this point, everybody's just like, big baby, get the hell off of here. You see Dan Rayfield, a longtime boxing scribe, outright calling him big dummy on Twitter. Normally I'm not with, going at fighters publicly, but in this case, it's like, what else can you say about Jarrell Miller? He had his opportunity, man, and he blew it multiple times. I don't know if he needs a better scientist. I don't know if he needs to borrow my urine, but at this point, you're out of chances. It's ridiculous. You're out of chances.
If you pop this many times across 2 sports, dude, you got serious questions you better start asking yourself, number 1. Number 2, here's the funny part about it. If you're wondering why, for folks who are watching, if he didn't get public, why didn't he get super in big trouble in the Anthony Joshua fight? My understanding, BC, is he actually did not have a license at the time. So what New York could do was really limited in terms of punishment. Now, he actually did have a license, I think, in Nevada, and they might absolutely hammer this guy, not just for this particular failure, but for the other ones where he kind of skated a little bit. So he could be in big trouble. The other part here is Top Rank keeps putting on fights. God bless him. Week after week, I appreciate that they're trying to get back to normalcy. I've said, when you watch it visually on ESPN, BC, it does look pretty good on ESPN. But the quality of the fights is so bad. And here you have Jarrell Miller, who, if you've never heard him talk, boy, he can sell it. Go and find the initial face-off he did with Anthony Joshua before that fight fell through. It was pushing and shoving. He was tearing off the sunglasses, BC. They were getting it down. And you could see why promoters want to book this guy, because he's a decent heavyweight, as you mentioned. He's American, and he could sell a fight, and he can do an interview. He's got a big personality, but he's also got a big problem. Dude, if I mention this, you shouldn't cheat. But if you're going to cheat, you have a responsibility to yourself to be good at it, because otherwise, dude, here's the reality about Jarrell Miller. It doesn't matter what your views on drug testing are. If you get caught, right, they're going to remove you. Here's the point, dude. How can anybody sign this guy at this point and think that he's going to make it from training camp to the finish line if there's even a modicum of drug testing at this point? It's not even like USADA is showing up his door at 6 a.m. Some of this I think might be out of competition, but very minimally. And the best part about this pandemic was out of competition tests, BC, we're down 90% across the board, according to many estimates done by researchers, because of all the different limits about travel and contact and the like. And this dude still got caught. It is unbelievable just how unreliable he is. Top Rank hasn't released him, but honestly, it kind of feels like if it wasn't for the pandemic, they definitely would. And I still kind of think that they might.
Yeah, he's staying, no doubt. And you mentioned Top Rank. This is bad luck. That was another, main event that would have been good to see. And they've had, unfortunately, about 4 or 5 decent main events over the next 2 months fall apart in the last week. I mean, one of those, Ivan Baranchyk against Jose Zepeda at 140 pounds, is one of those sneaky good matchups you wanted to see. It's been people failing COVID tests, their trainers failing it, injuries and the like. Tough to see boxing, like we mentioned last week, it's on the verge of a lot of fights being announced and coming back. Hopefully, Luke, they can start putting things together. I want to talk more boxing. I know some of those MMA diehards are like, I don't come here for the boxing. I come here for the D jokes and Luke's MMA takes. But I love me. All right, step 1, right? Open the box. Step 3, right?
Who was the Marine
in the box?
Who was the former Marine who just got COVID, who was supposed to be a top-ranked main eventer? I forget his name.
Are you talking about Third Degree Burns? Who are you talking about?
No, the African-American dude who used to be the Marine who was...
the ex-Marine. The former Marine,
There's no such thing. But he got COVID and had to pull out the main event. What was his name?
I don't know that in front of me. God.
You
but when
kill
it comes
me.
when it comes to the movie series, The Marine by WWE Films, are you more of a fan of John Cena in that role or The Miz?
What?
Given your background.
No.
You don't know the movie franchise?
Jamel Herring.
Huh?
Jamel Herring is the guy I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, the Fighting Marine. Yeah, Jamel Herring. Yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to that champ. I love that guy.
That guy. He also had to pull out too. But don't you find it? It's amazing. So let me ask you, if Jarrell Miller wants to fight in Russia, he'll be fine. He'll have a career there as long as he wants one, which, I don't know how many opportunities you get for that before the whole sideshow runs out, but he will get one. How long is Nevada going to suspend this guy, you think?
I don't know, a year, not 18 months. I mean, it's boxing. He'll fight in Europe. Before you know it, he'll be back. I don't know. I hope it's true. I hope that this guy's got a couple of years to figure it out and think about it. But this has tarnished his name to the level where it's it's more stupid risk to take this guy on for a fight that matters, that you won't see him for a long time.
A student, popular football player, evil child molester.
We find the defendant guilty.
I've never woken up in the morning and wondered, did we get the wrong guy?
This trial was a sham.
There's been an outcry.
He's a great guy.
He was absolutely guilty.
They got it wrong.
Initially, I was pretty convinced of his innocence. Now I wouldn't be surprised either way.